Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And we know they are really groovy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Gal Talking About Movies. And full disclosure, this episode has been pre-recorded to air at this time. So if you want to comment below, so you can still, and of course, always ring the notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is coming up. Or be sure to subscribe to the Cosmos Creative channel. So, on today's episode, we are going to discuss a phenomenal actor, one of my favorites, certainly, and a favorite of a lot of people. We're going to be talking about Paul Newman. That's right. Look at that handsome devil. Those frosty blue eyes. Stirred a lot of hearts, especially a young actress named Joanne Woodward. But we're going to talk about her and him in a minute, but first, let me bring up my guy and my gal, Rory Penland, the man of 10,000 million billion voices.
Jeez. No pressure there.
And no pressure. And Elana, as soon as her device connects, there we go. There's Elana.
I couldn't hear you guys, so.
Oh, yeah, sometimes you'll kind of disappear on us, but things,
I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties.
But you sound great.
Okay now.
But you sound great. You do.
You can hear me? Okay, and I can hear you guys right now, so.
Good.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Big time.
I had to do Strother Martin because he's in about half of Paul Newman's movies.
Yes, that's right. So, we lost Mr. Newman in 2008. His last film was actually a voice work. He did the voice of in the movie Cars.
Doc Hudson.
He did Doc Hudson. That's right.
The judge.
And even without seeing his face, that voice still highly recognizable. And
was
yes,
it Cars 2 or Cars 3 was his last one?
Did he do all the Cars?
I thought it was just
I knew he did at least 2.
Yeah, that was the first one. Oh, okay.
It might have been 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he did at least 2. I'm not sure if he was Doc Hudson in the third one. I think they might have gotten an actor like Jim Meskimen or somebody to do his voice.
I know. Actually, I don't even think I saw the third one. I saw the first 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's the Japan one. Where they go to the racing.
Well, Mater.
Yeah. Not one of Pixar's better efforts, or Disney's better efforts.
The first one was fun, though. The first
one was great. So I'm sure we'll be discussing that one and a lot of his other work. So let's jump right in. Okay. And Elana, will you lead us off with your first pick, please? Or
okay,
your first Paul Newman?
What I want to say is I did not see any bad performances. All of his performances are amazing. And
yes, agreed.
So it's not like I couldn't really pick based on best performance like, we normally do. So I just picked the movies that I like the best that he's in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Nadine Hanna, who is one of my sisters for my dog groups. and she gave me a gem of a movie to watch called Torn Curtain, and it is Julie Andrews and Paul Newman from 1966. It's a Hitchcock film. I'm a huge fan of Hitchcock. And so that is my number one. I love seeing I don't think I've seen Julie Andrews, in a movie like that before, not when she was that young. And that was really great. And it was wonderful to see, Paul Newman I always like to see, very good, strong actors and how they're directed by various directors. So seeing him in a Hitchcock movie was really a special treat. And that is my number one.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd actually kind of forgotten about that one, and then I went back and it's like, oh yeah.
It's not on any of the lists. I don't know why. If you look up like the top 25 or, that's usually where I begin. I didn't see any.
Really? Well, I think Mr. Fenlon has something to say about that.
Newman, it's mostly Andrew's movie, I think. She's looking for her husband, and she finally finds him, and again, he's telling her, "Get lost, go away." I love you. And it's because he's playing double agent kind of thing. So yeah, it's really not his movie all that much. I mean, he's in it. He's in half of it. So I think people think that when they I mean, it is, like you said, it is Hitchcock, and it is wonderful. There's a story about that film too. Hitchcock and his composer had a falling out, Bernard Herrmann. So Bernard Herrmann recorded an entire score for that movie, and it was never used. I mean, it's available. You can find it, on the internet.
Oh, wow.
And find it in CD and all. Because he's scored most of the great Hitchcock films, And I think, was it Miklos Rosa ended up getting the soundtrack, and it's not as good. It's not as good as the Bernard Herrmann,
Well,
so
that's a shame.
So, I mean,
and Rosa was.
I'm a huge Herrmann fan, so I mean, it's a great score, and it's a shame that it never got released with the movie.
Yeah. Well, Rory, what's your number one then?
I didn't think this was going to be my number one, but I just enjoyed the hell out of it so much, and I enjoyed his performance in it so much. It's so different from his other performances, and that's The Life and Time of Judge Roy Bean, which is a really weird John Huston Western movie.
Right, yeah.
And it's got a great cast as usual. I mean, this is a great double. This would be a great double feature with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, I think. Because again, you got a lot of the same people playing characters in it. There was another Western he did, and we'll talk about it later when we get to the honorable mentions. That just didn't quite hit the mark like this one did, And again, it's so strange, so weird, and even Huston comes in and makes a cameo as Grizzly Adams, which is hysterical.
Yeah,
it's such a weird movie. I just enjoyed it so much, and it's Newman basically doing real tongue-in-cheek dark comedy, which I loved. Because again, so different. It's like a guilty pleasure, like his scene in Silent Movie where they do the wheelchair chase at the hospital. That's in my honorable mentions because, it's delightful. I mean, he's my second favorite cameo in that film. The movie's all cameos. And next to Charlie Callis as the blind man, he's my favorite. He's my second favorite cameo in the film. Because it's him just being silly, and it's wonderful. Yeah. I like to see him do kind of comedy. So, awesome. Life and Time of Judge Roy Bean starts out very violent, and then just people come and go in the film. You got Anthony Perkins popping in, as a reverend in the beginning, and then he goes, he's gone before you know it, and again, Houston doing Grizzly Adams and other people coming in. Ava Gardner doing Lily Langtree. They all swear their love and devotion to Lily Langtree.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Well,
get
most of the plot is about him waiting for her to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like a Waiting for Godot Western.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I like doing the show so much with you guys is because I didn't watch any of the movies that you just talked about, and now I'm like, well, I clearly have more Paul Newman movies.
You need to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's delightful.
Cool.
So yeah, that was a kind of even a surprise to me because there's like 2 or 3 movies that you think Paul Newman. When you think Paul Newman, these 3 movies pop into your head right away. And I thought, oh, that's gonna be number 1, 2, and 3. And then this one, I watched this one, I was like, oh my god, this is great. So yeah, so it jumped to the top of my list.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is one of those actors that you think, okay, this is cut and dry. It's going to be this, and this. And then it's like, and like Elana said right at the beginning, there's not a bad performance from him that I've seen, where it's like, oh, he's just phoning it in, or this is below his capability. No, he was so good. Okay, so my number 1 is, and I'm going to assume that it's probably on everybody's list, but you never assume anything. But one of my personal favorites from Newman is Cool Hand Luke.
Oh,
Cool Hand Luke.
talk about a stellar performance. That, if I had to actually say one performance that stuck with me, and I'd never seen it before. Like I had never seen any of the big Paul Newman movies before. That performance is just brilliant.
It is. And that's why it just, when I think Paul Newman, that's the first one that comes to my mind is Cool Hand Luke. George Kennedy as his sort of,
oh my god, what a cast. Strother Martin. Stanton is just Dean Stanton at that point. Very young Dennis Hopper. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's
and
full of people.
And it has this kind of, when I was in college, I took a course on myth and mythology and religion and all that, and we talked about, and no, actually, this came up in a film studies class that I took, and we talked about mythic structures, filmmakers using, the monomyth and the hero's journey and all that. And Cool Hand Luke was one of the ones that came up because it is very much that kind of story, and also a very kind of messianic story as well, in that Luke becomes this figure of myth. Kennedy at the end, he's recounting this story of, oh yeah, he fooled them coppers and he got away and this and that, and started creating this myth around him, But yeah, it's just a superlative performance and a personal favorite. So that's my number 1.
So something really funny, something I found really funny talking about the myth is that the only thing I knew about Cool Hand Luke was from the movie Reality Bites from like 1994, where Ethan Hawke's character says, you can't eat all the eggs. So I know at some point there's going to be this scene about eating the eggs, right? So it's so interesting because it's not just that he's a myth or a legend in this movie. We see Cool Hand Luke was 1967. We see, what is that? 37 years later, we see it in Reality Bites, which is the only thing I, knew about until I watched it for this. So it's fascinating. That was fascinating to me.
And that's a great scene. He makes a bet that he can eat like 50
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs or something like that, and you see
50
him
hard-boiled eggs in an hour. Yeah.
in an hour, and then at the end you see his big, this huge distended belly. Oh
And I
man, yeah.
loved this is Cold Hand Luke was because it was a difficult movie to watch. It was my number 5. But one thing I really liked about it was I loved his kind of double edge. He's like towards the end, he's like, I got my mind right. I'm not broken. But yet he snaps this, smirk and like this Paul Newman, gorgeous smirk at, his partner in crime. And it's just really cool. Like he is a legend because you don't know, just when you think he's broken, he like bounces back and it just.
Right, exactly.
Well, that smirk is actually thrown back at you at the end of the film. That was one of the great things about the end of the film. It makes you actually it makes it okay that he's probably dead because you don't realize that he's doing that Paul Newman, smirk, as you call it. And then they show like a montage of it going through the whole movie. How he makes, when he thinks that he has succeeded and beaten whatever it is that he's up against, he does that little Paul Newman or Cool Hand Luke smirk.
But
we see it
ending,
ding, one after the other, the shots one after the other when George Kennedy's talking about it.
As him winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was really, I mean, that's why it's a brilliant performance. There's so many layers, just you don't even know exactly where he is. And yeah, everybody's made him into this legend, but like there are people that are made into legends and then you talk to them and you're like, okay, but like even just you think he's beaten, but no, he wins in the end. It's
That's right.
Right. And like George Kennedy
I'm
keeps
really happy I saw it.
Keeps getting back up.
Yeah. All right. So what's your second what's second on your list?
So my number 2 again
number 2?
Doesn't go on great performances. It goes on movies, and this is one of my favorite movies, if not of all time, then very close. And that's the Hudsucker Proxy. 1994. It was one of the early Coen Brothers movies. A brilliant movie. I adore this movie. I had totally forgotten that Paul Newman was even in it because it really is Tim Robbins' movie. But once again, we see there's so like a very interesting aspect of Paul Newman's movies is that he is so high caliber and he was so well regarded and celebrated during his lifetime that there are a million different people that pop up in every single movie. And so, like you get to see younger versions of people that you didn't even really think were necessarily coexisting at the same time as Paul Newman. And that was really interesting to me because I saw this movie in 1994 when it came out. I've seen it a number of times since, and there's always something extra that you're seeing, and that includes the performances by Paul Newman and Tim Robbins and Jennifer Jason Leigh, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I adore
Bruce Campbell. Yeah, I love the pattern that they get. They get that 1940s kind of dialogue and rhythm going throughout the movie, which I really liked about that. Yeah.
And that's another cool thing about Paul Newman too, is there's a joke with Sean Connery, Sean Connery be a dragon, how's this? Sean Connery be a whatever, how's this? But like Paul Newman, every time you give him new parameters, he somehow blends his. I mean, he's gorgeous. Like my mom had a huge crush on him, and now I know why. he just blends whatever, into this person, and you're not, he's so good that even though has this beautiful face, he still becomes whoever it is that his character is.
I have a theory about him in the regards to how he got started. You have to realize in the mid 50s, Marlon Brando was like it for like you said, like hunky guys that girls would, oh my God, look, but we all have heard the stories now, decades later, of Marlon Brando being a method actor and how difficult he was to work with.
Yeah.
I really feel like Paul Newman being a real actor, like who's the one that told Dustin Hoffman, why don't you try acting? Laurence Olivier. Like Laurence Olivier, why don't you just try acting, my dear boy? It's much easier. And I think that's how Paul Newman got noticed and got into movies. I mean, he started with the Long Hot Summer and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And oh my God, if you haven't seen those movies, Elana, you'll be drooling by the end.
Because I'm a Tennessee Williams fan, and I had to miss it this time. But and also Elizabeth Taylor's. So I definitely need to pick back up on
those
that
two
one.
movies are almost identical. Oh, great! My sugar just went up.
Oh dear.
That's a problem. Okay. Now that I've clicked it, it won't be beeping. But
are you okay though?
Nuts! I got this thing in my arm, and it's attached to my phone now, and it wakes me up at 5 o'clock in the morning to tell me that my sugar's high. Anyway, welcome to the world of diabetes, folks.
Yeah, one of the joys of getting older, right?
Yeah.
I'm not loving that.
They all have an incredible ensemble cast of people, actors pretending to be deep Southern characters. And they both have a family matriarch played by a legendary actor, being Orson Welles in the first one, and Burl Ives. I told him I'd shoot. Why didn't he believe me? He was in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof as Big Daddy. They throw in.
I know the play, right? Actors. I have to see it.
Yeah, so you see the
It's
movie.
A great double feature. And again, if you're a girl that thinks that he is attractive, oh my God, watch those two movies.
It's funny because I had the most, I seriously crushed on Robert Redford when I was younger, and my mom had the biggest crush on Paul Newman.
She had seen those earlier films.
Yeah. Oh my God. I asked my mom which one was her favorite. So
by the time he was co-starring with Redford, he was seasoned.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at him. He's beautiful. That's a fact. That's not opinion. But I think Robert Redford also, I'm very excited.
And it's the same with Warren Beatty. Redford. It's the same with Warren Beatty. When you look at him in the early films.
Right. We talked about
how did women even stay away from him? How did he even have time to film movies?
Beatty, I had no clue. Right. By the time I watched Paul Newman or Warren Beatty, we were into, I guess before I really understood, we were in the early 80s. Yeah. And they look different. So,
They aged.
Yeah, Robert Redford didn't really age.
But fine wine.
He was still gorgeous.
Yeah, his hair got a little lighter, but his facial features, everything. He aged actually very well. He actually aged very gracefully. He did.
Yeah.
Agreed. As did Warren Beatty. And Robert Redford.
And Paul Newman, even in his later movies, extremely attractive too. But I think, when you're like a 8-year-old kid, Robert Redford's the one you're going to pick out of the three.
With the red hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what's your number 2, Rory?
Cool Hand Luke was my number 2. It was my number 1 until George Roy Bean knocked it down on the list. So it's my number 2. We already talked about it, so we can move on to you and your number 2.
Okay. All right. So my number 2 is The Verdict. His movie, one of his movies with Sidney Lumet.
I'm halfway through that movie.
Yeah, and I think we discussed it when we talked about Sidney Lumet as a director. But it's an incredible movie. It's one of the best courtroom dramas, I think, ever done.
Courtroom dramas.
He got an award nod for that, didn't he?
He got a nod for it. I think he should have won, but he didn't. Yeah. But still, at least he was recognized for that. He plays Frank Galvin. He's this down in his luck, alcoholic, lawyer, he's become an ambulance chaser. He digs through obituaries to find clients, all this stuff. And then his buddy, this detective, played by Jack Warden, basically hands him this case that involves negligence, medical negligence. Mm-hmm. And at first it looks like a slam dunk, but of course things start. There wouldn't be a drama if things didn't go sour, which they do. And it looks like he's just about to give up. But eventually he finds his passion again and realizes that, wait a minute, there's some things that are just wrong. And this is wrong. And I need to make it right. And he kind of comes back from this dark place that he was in. So great performances. James Mason plays his opposition, plays the defense attorney. And Charlotte Rampling, wonderful English actress, plays his kind of his girlfriend. Oh yeah.
I forgave her for Zardos. I did.
Yeah.
And I forgave Sean Connery for Zardos.
For Zardos, yeah. Who knows what they were thinking? Yeah, Sean Connery, who passed up playing Gandalf because he didn't understand the script. Yeah, okay, but he was in Zardos, so yeah. All right, I don't know enough about that. So anyway, so that's my number 2 is The Verdict.
So The Verdict, I only made it halfway through, not because I didn't like it, but because of time.
Yeah. And
there's this one scene where he refuses to take the money to just settle it. And he's like, what if I become, and being a lawyer, watching him struggle with this, should I take the money? I'm just becoming this despicable. I mean, I don't want to totally okay, as a lawyer, like your biggest nightmare, right, is that you're going to be an ambulance chaser. And so watching him have this struggle where he could just make things easy and make it go away, but he just can't do that. That was such a powerful scene. And I am looking forward to finishing the film. I regret that I ran out of time because what I saw, I really, and Sidney Lumet is how you pronounce the director's name?
Yes.
Okay, I think for some reason I always thought it was Sidney Lumet. Maybe I just
made that up. That's what I always thought. Sidney Lumet.
I could have totally made that up.
It's a French thing.
It's
but
it's the half I saw was amazing, and I can't wait to see the rest.
Oh yeah, he gives one of the great closing speeches in history.
Ooh. Wait, like closing statement or like
closing statement? Closing statement.
Closing remark.
I'm seriously,
closing
I'm
remark.
all about courtroom dramas. We should do like our top favorite courtroom dramas because I live for that.
I was thinking about that today. Yeah, we may do that.
I'm such a sucker for courtroom, real courtroom, fake court. Like
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. All right. So Elana, you're in the big chair now. What's your number 3?
Okay, so I watched the big movies that I was supposed to watch because I wanted to make sure that I had a good foundation for my Paul Newman movies.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one that I thought was just so fun and I loved it so much. And that's The Sting from 1973.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
I
number
love
3
that
as well.
movie. Wait, it's your number 3 as well?
That's my number 3 as well. Yeah. I love The Sting. It's a great script.
So good. I mean, all the movies that I saw were, again, amazing. But The Sting was enjoyable. It was fun. I have been known to be a little bit of a poker shark. And a pool shark. And I love these movies. There's like this logic-based puzzle that they're solving that is kind of like a courtroom drama, and I just get so absorbed in that. And then his character is just it was so fun. I loved it so much. I love them setting everything up. Of course, I love that Robert Redford was in it, and it was just one of my few movies that I love just based on the fact that it was so enjoyable.
Yeah. So your number 3 is The Sting, Rory. So
Also, The Sting. Yeah.
Want to add to that?
Fantastic performance by Robert Shaw. Another great ensemble cast with Charles Durning and, of course, Redford. And it's Redford's movie, really, for the most part. Paul Newman is part of the team, yeah, but he's not in it as much as Redford is. Eileen Brennan, Ray Walston, just a wonderful cast and a wonderful ensemble movie. And again, it's just a kind of a fun, feel good kind of, let's stick it to the, let's stick it to the mob and the gamblers, and it's a wonderful movie. And there's a great story about this. The script was actually turned in by a student in his college screenwriting class, and the teacher went gaga over it and talked to some of his friends that were in the industry and got it sold for the kid. And that's how it all started.
That's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
So
that's awesome.
But, I mean, it's no William Goldman, but it's a great script. And again, the teacher who might have, something in the back of my mind is telling me that William Goldman was the teacher of the class. But I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was a class script turned in, and the teacher was like, "I'm gonna call some people. This is a really, really, really good script." He got an A. So fun movie.
Yes.
Yep. All right. Well, by some strange coincidence, actually, my number 3 is a twofer. And it's the 2 movies that Newman did with Robert Redford, which is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting.
Right.
Butch Cassidy is the better movie, and you got a lot more Redford, a lot more Newman in that one. It's a much more co-equal movie, but they're both so good. Of course, Butch and Sundance, based on a true story or real people, but just a great little Western. And we get a cameo from Richard Kiel, Jaws himself, and
I'm sorry, it was Ted Cassidy, Lurch.
Oh, Ted Cassidy. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, Richard Kiel was actually the tall one in the Eastwood Pale Rider.
I'm getting mixed up.
You could say that was kind of homage to that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was Ted Cassidy. But
Boy,
anyway, yeah. So as westerns go, just a fun movie. Bit of a downer ending, and not not to spoil things, but
well,
yeah,
that's
maybe.
that's what happened.
Yeah, but it's exactly not real life doesn't always end happily, unfortunately, especially
Yeah.
when you're a couple of outlaws. Uh, of course, wonderful performance from Catherine.
Mm.
I'm going to say Catherine O'Hara, but Catherine. Oh my
Ross.
God,
Right.
Ross. Thank you. I'm getting my Catherines mixed up in my head.
No, I knew that was
It's
definitely
like
not
it's like all
Catherine.
the damn
Nor
Chris's
Leslie.
out there. But yeah, Catherine Ross. And
Big
a
hit
great
for
score
Raindrops
from
Keep Falling on My Head.
Oh, that was
and a great
so
score.
fun. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. And I love
Oh, and
all the
and the
bicycle antics. That
the
was
whole
Yeah.
bicycle thing,
adorable.
yeah. And of course at the end when he throws the bicycle, yeah, damn
Yeah.
bicycle. Uh, because the future started to creep in, and it's really about the end of the so-called Old West and the beginning of the modern era.
Right.
Mhm.
Kind of a eulogy to that as well.
By the way, Henry Jones is a great old character actor. He's done 1,000 TV shows and a lot of
Mhm.
movies. He was the guy that was selling the bicycles, and the
Mm.
guy that he interrupted on stage was actually Kenneth Mars from the Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah,
So he's like
right.
the sheriff in the town. He's trying to get a posse together. And this guy pulls a bicycle up on stage. He's trying to sell it.
Mhm.
It's a great
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
Henry Jones. Yeah, he's a
It
great
was
actor.
yeah,
I
and
I
yes.
don't like westerns. I've learned this about myself.
Mm.
I liked a lot of my mom said Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That was her favorite movie.
Mhm.
And so I was going to watch it anyway, but I made sure to watch it. And what I found out, I guess from watching The Sting and Butch Cassidy is that I love you, Paul Newman, but I liked Robert Redford better. And,
Hey, you know,
I don't like westerns, but Butch Cassidy was great, and it was actually I loved. I mean, it was really funny.
Yeah.
It was hard to
yeah,
get through for the first few minutes, and then there was like this humor that came in, and
Right.
I
it's
grew up
a
with
lot
the
of comedy.
song "Raindrops Keep Falling on Your Head." I think that came
Yeah,
out probably in the early '70s, and
yes,
so to me that was delightful, and I loved all of his
No.
running around with his smirk on the bike and the
Mhm.
little flirtations and
I
for
wonder
a
if this movie was
western
67 or 68.
the movie is 69
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And again, that
1969.
that song came out with that movie. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
part of
But
the
so
it but
sound.
it
that's
was a
why
huge, but it became a huge
so
hit in
that
the
makes
But it
sense,
was
'70s
so
and the
that's
early
huge.
why it was
The
'70s.
still
guy is still
Yeah,
popular. It
yeah,
was so
yeah,
popular
yeah.
in
knows
the
the
early
stuff because of the DJ
70s.
Thomas.
DJ Thomas.
Actually,
Yeah.
I mean, it was popular all the way through the mid 70s
Yeah.
Hmm.
because
Oh yeah,
I remember it very clearly when I was a kid.
Yeah.
yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
as far
speaking
as
of,
westerns go, it was pretty good. It was delightful. I love their banter back and forth about
oh
like
yeah.
we should go to
Again, one
Bolivia.
of the
No,
greatest
we should go to
screenwriters in Hollywood history,
Australia.
William Goldman.
It was
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
for a western. I definitely enjoyed it way more than
Most
than I
Western.
would normally
You thought you
enjoy
would have. Yeah, yeah,
its genre, I guess.
yeah. Well, I want to say this about music, and talking about the Sting. Marvin Hamlisch's score, where
Yeah.
he used Scott. He brought back Scott Joplin from obscurity. I mean, I think people didn't even know who that was
Right.
until and the entertainer, the
The
theme
ragtime music.
song,
Yeah. That was a
the
big
ragtime music,
It was one of the
and
big
first
part of the
piano
Sting, yeah, and
songs
its
I
success.
learned. it was one of the first piano songs I learned how to play. And so that also really made the Sting very enjoyable for me, because my teacher was she was elderly, and I asked her for some like fun music and she didn't quite know what I meant. She gave me like Chariots of Fire and that was not fun. But then she gave me The Entertainer, and that actually was fun. And I had remembered that when I was watching it. So the music definitely made the movie.
It's one of my favorite soundtracks. I remember after I saw the movie, I bought it on cassette, and then later on, when that wore out, I bought it on CD, and now I have it on streaming. It's just a gorgeous.
I had a record album. Yeah, I had the record album when it came out.
Yeah, I'm gonna relearn it when I'm able to start the piano again. It's still the music in my piano bench.
Yeah, well, there you go. Oh, that is so good.
Yeah. And it fits the movie so well, because the
does.
movie is like,
well, it was of that, yeah. I
they're
mean, whoever thought of that, whether it was Hamlish or whoever, I guess it must have been Hamlish, said, hey, you know what? Let's bring, this is the music that's appropriate for this story. So
yeah, it really was.
All right. So what's your number 4, Elana?
My number 4, which was also kind of a difficult movie to get through, was The Hustler. His performance is amazing, and doing research, this actually comes up quite often as one of his best performances by the critics. And he's a pool hustler, so I definitely appreciated that part. It just seems it's very gritty, and normally I like it, but I think his character's a little frustrating. Like, he's amazing, right? His character, like, he is great as his character, but Eddie is a frustrating guy.
Yes.
And we'll also kind of double up on that, The Color of Money, which was from 1986, which I had seen in 1986. So I feel like I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, so I almost didn't watch The Color of Money again, but I'm glad that I did. And I feel like people should see both, because it's a more complete experience of Eddie
Felson.
Eddie Felson, fast Eddie Felson.
And he really is a fascinating character, and it's very interesting to see him both in 1961 and then in 1986.
And it's interesting.
And he does certain things that, like, you just can't help it. You want to shake him.
Right, yeah.
He's not a very good guy, but, he has this charm. Like, it's the one thing, it's really funny, because while I was watching The Color of Money, I think one of the things that bothered me, it didn't have anything to do with him, but I loved Mary Mastriantonio in it, and I wanted her to be the pool shark. I wanted her to be the one that he talked to, because I liked their relationship better. And Tom Cruise just seemed his character was dense, and again, I'm not a fan, so I'm not going to, want to vote for him. But I think I definitely enjoyed seeing more of Eddie Felson, and I would have really liked to have seen, especially in 1986, what would happen if it was, the girl that was the pool shark.
Right, yeah.
The scene that stood out in Color of Money with me was when he got hustled by Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
That was an intense scene. And again, that harkened back to the first movie a lot. You know, with him going back and forth with Jackie Gleason as what was Jackie
Minnesota
Gleason?
Fats. Minnesota Fats.
Minnesota Fats. There it is.
Yeah.
Again, a wonderful performance, dramatic performance by Gleason.
Oh, that
in
was
that film.
That was great to see.
And I always thought that George C. Scott basically cut his teeth on Dr. Strangelove. I totally forgot that he was in that movie as the Booker. Very nasty in that film. Very sleazy.
Oh, and once again, we have so many people that pop up in that movie, and that was also really interesting. I guess the thing that the reason why I wanted to see her be the poker shark was because Eddie Felson's character was like, he kept undermining himself because he had this pride thing going on. And so he was really brilliant. He was really good at pool, but he just he didn't know when to stop. And then we just see that again from Tom Cruise. And it's just, nah. You know, it would have been interesting to see him try to educate somebody who was a little more in control and understood the game better. And I mean, Tom Cruise was such a big name at that time in 1986 that, you know, that he definitely helped to sell the movie, but I could have done without him.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. It could have been any actor who was popular at that time play that character.
Yeah.
I think, and it's kind of mystifying that he ended up getting it. Just kind of the same way it's mystifying that he ended up getting the Vampire Lestat. You know.
Oh my
but
God,
there it is. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood for you.
Well,
you know?
it's also not challenging. You know what I mean? Like in 1986, they were just starting to make movies that were challenging. They were just starting to make movies that, you know, little girls thought that they could do things that they couldn't do before. And then this movie isn't pushing, you know, it's interesting to see if you saw The Hustler, but it wasn't pushing any boundaries. It wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Minnesota Fats
so
and
good.
Nelson, who are both real people, actually played each other in pool. This was when the first cable stations, like the first sports stations on HBO, and but what's the sports station? ESPN.
ESPN.
Like the very first ESPN channel. I mean, there's like 1,600 of them now, but when the first one, I remember watching Minnesota Fats playing Eddie Felson, and then, you know, sharing barbs with each other, you know, I mean, kidding each other and ribbing each other while they played. And it's,
well, and I guess that also
it was like that in the first movie.
Even more interesting to then see him train a female poker shark in the 80s, because
pool.
If Eddie Felson would not have just, you know, gone after Tom Cruise, and he would have gone after Carmen, I think was her name. I think it would have been even more interesting, because we would, knowing that the 1961 film was based on you know, real people, it would be, I'm having problems like expressing why I think that would be more interesting to then see him do something different.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it would have, it's because, and I see what you're saying, because Color of Money is, I mean, it's not a remake of The Hustler, but
No.
Right.
it's just going down the same road, you know.
Right.
So
Well, I guess
it
that's
didn't
the
really
thing
do
is it's a
anything
sequel.
different with it or new with
Well,
it.
that's what's
Yeah.
frustrating about Eddie is that obviously he hasn't learned anything from his lessons.
in the last 25 years, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and that's what she was talking about, the frustration, you know, that she had with him and his
yeah, I
character.
guess that's the thing is like he
Yeah.
doesn't change.
Yeah.
And if you're seeing something from
That's the
1961
tragedy of
based
it.
on real people, and the one in 1986 doesn't have real people that it's based on, it would have been the perfect opportunity to learn something a little more multidimensional about Eddie Felson as well.
It would have
I
been
thought it
nice
was
to have seen him learn.
Yeah, learn something.
I mean,
that's
it's
the
funny also,
tragedy of
I
it.
didn't even remember the color. Like, I guess that's the big thing too, is I knew that I had seen it and I didn't remember any of it. And I feel like it could have been a movie
A little bit more
to
memorable. Yeah.
be memorable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the things you do remember, you wish you hadn't. Like Tom
Well,
Cruise's
and again,
dance with the pool cue.
I'm biased because I don't like Tom Cruise. So maybe if it would have been like
Negative
Rob
bias.
Lowe, you know, or somebody else.
James
I don't
Spader.
know.
James Spader.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise is just
Rob Lowe.
so
Yeah.
he's milquetoast. Like, I'm sorry, he's just total
Yeah.
milquetoast. Like,
But I kind of have the feeling at the time that it almost feels like they were trying to position Cruise as kind of the next Paul Newman.
oh
And
my goodness.
yeah, no, it didn't work.
What a huge mistake.
It actually became good. As a matter of fact, Tom Cruise began race car driving when he met Paul Newman.
right.
Mhm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Tom
yeah, they kept
Cruise
in touch
really.
through Paul Newman's life, you know.
There are
Yeah.
people that like him,
They
and I'm
became friends.
sure that they'll disagree with me. But to me, he really is milquetoast. Like, the only movie I remember that he's in so much is like the early ones, right? Of course, but those were like because I was that age. And then Vanilla Sky because the ending pissed me off. But I can't
Vanilla
really
Sky.
tell you.
Risky
Oh my
Business.
God. It was what?
Risky Business was his big breakout
Well,
hit.
yeah, of course I remember that one. But again, like that was aimed at my age group, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
And that was a big thing at that time to have movies be aimed at your age group.
Mhm.
But coming away from it, I just remember that movie, and I remember Vanilla Sky because the ending made me angry. I was like,
You made
Tom
everybody
Cruise.
angry.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bold statement again and say Tom Cruise is milquetoast.
That's
All right.
Yeah.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I gotta say, speaking of those movies, they're in my honorable mentions. But there was a Twilight Zone episode. There was a Twilight Zone episode with Jack Klugman and Jonathan Winters. Yeah,
It was Jonathan Winters. Yeah.
Basically remaking The Hustler.
Yeah.
Except of course it had that supernatural twist from the Twilight Zone.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like, oh, here you get these great comedians winding up playing pool sharks in both these, first in the movie and then in the TV episode. And I thought that was
One
kind
of the few
interesting.
things Jonathan Winters did where he was controlled and it was drama. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
love
used to
the
see him kind of
Twilight Zone.
but that's one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, you know who else popped up? John Turturro. Always happy to see John Turturro.
Oh, Turturro. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So what's your number 4? Rory?
A totally crazy, silly, fun movie, Slapshot. Slapshot's my number 4. It was my number 5, and then I switched it with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I just enjoyed Slapshot so much. The Hanson brothers and Newman is fantastic in it, and it's him doing comedy, which I love. I love to see him having a good time, doing comedy.
Mhm.
And Michael Onkeen,
Strother Martin again in the movies, the guy that sells the team.
or he's the manager, and he convinces, or I guess the owner convinces him that they're going to sell, or they're going to get rid of the team. They're not going to sell it. They're going to get rid of the team, so that they can take a tax credit.
Mhm.
And again, if you go to any hockey game, it's a hockey movie. If you go to any hockey game, they'll play clips from that movie usually during the game or before the game. It's a wonderful, delightful film. And again, the three guys that play the Hanson brothers, they go all over the world, talking about their characters, the Hanson brothers. And there was like 3 or 4 sequels. They were in all of them. But Newman in the first one is just really wonderful. And he's Cool Hand Luke, but he's the head of the hockey team.
Mhm.
So that's my number 4. And again, we don't have to go to my number 5 because Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid we've talked about.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, my number 4 is it's one that I wasn't expecting to make my number 4, but I watched it again and I really enjoyed it. I thought this is actually a really good movie. It's called Paris Blues, and it's Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier playing jazz musicians in Paris in the 1950s. Of course, it was made in the 50s. And of course, Joanne Woodward is in the movie. In fact, she's in a lot of his movies because they were a couple, and one of the great power couples of Hollywood for years and years and years. And Diane Carroll, one of her earliest movies, and it's just, I mean, there's not much of a plot to this movie. I mean, it's really it's just a character piece. But these two guys, two sort of freewheeling, living the bohemian life in Paris. They're musicians. Although Newman has ambitions to be taken seriously, to be a classical musician, and he's written this piece for piano and orchestra, and he takes it to an expert, and he kind of shoots him down a little bit. I mean, he doesn't say it's terrible, but he says it's kind of like, okay, it's nice, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's nice. But it's also mainly a love story. Really, it's a love story about Paris. It's a love letter to Paris, but it's also, of course, Newman and Woodward. Woodward and Carol are these two girls from America who are on vacation. And so they wind up meeting these two guys. And Woodward's character goes off with Newman, and Diane Carroll goes off with Sidney Poitier. And Newman, he's kind of one of these guys. He's like kind of playing hard to get. Like, I'm not a one-woman man. I'm here for the music. And all this stuff. And hey, you're just, you're basically a one-night stand. Although they do kind of wind up having this relationship. And Diane Carroll is trying to convince Sidney Poitier to come back to the States, and he's like, "No, I'm living the good life here. Everybody treats me, like an equal. Nobody, there's, I mean, it really brings up the issue of race without sort of beating you over the head with it. But you know what they're talking about, and why he doesn't want to go back to the States. And at the end, and I'm gonna give it away here. It's a spoiler. It's not that big a spoiler. You think that they're both going to leave and go back to America for different reasons. Even though Poitier's really fallen in love. I mean, they've both fallen in love with their respective partners. But in the end, it's like no, they decide to stay. It's like bros over hoes, It's a terrible saying, and I'm sorry I just said that. But yeah, at the end,
You say that during this show.
I know. But in the end, yeah, they do decide they decide to stay. And that's how the movie ends. But again, neither of these men could give a bad performance. And the ladies, Joanne Woodward and Diane Carroll, fabulous as well. And the backdrop of Paris, it's just a good, solid little movie. And we're talking about Newman's character being frustrating in
The Hustler.
in the Hustler. He tends to play those kinds of characters a lot. He plays this very headstrong,
He's very charming,
very
though. So
he's
it's
charming,
sometimes
but
sometimes
yeah,
it's
you kind of want to
frustrating.
sometimes want to grab him and go, hey, what
Yeah.
the hell's wrong with you?
But sometimes you're
know.
like, oh, there's that smirk.
Yeah, but then then it gets the smirk, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. So anyway, but yeah. So
Like you can't be angry with your cat for long, you know.
exactly. There you go.
Hey, like,
Exactly.
if
Perfect.
Bean
Yeah.
does anything that is not perfect, it's still perfect.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
All right.
I
So what's your
haven't heard of that movie, and that movie sounds really like something I would love. So
yeah?
you
And
did a
and if
good
you
job
like
selling it.
and if you like jazz, and there's a small part from Louis Armstrong.
Oh,
As a
wow.
plays a part in this. Kind of
That's
it's
cool.
kind of an extended cameo.
I had never heard of the movie, to be honest with you, and I just looked
I'm
it up on the phone,
Mhm.
and it was just after The Hustler, so
I am sold.
like
I don't
62.
know why it wasn't on my list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
I
lost it.
definitely give it a watch. Definitely, it's a good
Yeah,
movie.
it sounds
I highly
great.
recommend it. Highly recommend it. All right. So Alana, what is your number 5?
So I'm actually done because my number 5 was Cole and Luke because
Oh,
of
okay.
how
Okay.
amazing the performance is.
Okay.
And I guess I'll just slide down one movie that I saw down from honorable mentions to just talk about real quick right now. There was a movie called Twilight that I thought was an interesting movie, and it is completely star-studded. Gene Hackman's in it, Susan Sarandon's in it. I can't remember everybody else who was in it, but it's
Twilight.
like sort of like a thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good movie. So not anything, amazing to talk about it. It was just it's an interesting watch if somebody's looking for another Paul Newman movie that is a little more under the radar.
Cool. Okay. And Rory, your number 5 was
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which
Cassidy
we've
and
talked
Sundance
about,
Kid.
so we can get right to our honorable mentions list and what we haven't talked
Well,
about.
I got. Well, wait, hold on. I got to get my number 5.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have 5.
So so my number 5 is Absence of Malice.
Okay.
Kind of. I don't know if it's kind of another courtroom drama, but
I missed that one too. Yeah, that one
this one it's an interesting movie.
Sally Field.
Sally Field plays. Yeah, she plays a reporter, and she writes this article suggesting, kind of implying that Newman's character had murdered somebody. And of course, it's totally not true. So he has to defend himself, because all of a sudden,
he had to defend himself in a courtroom?
Yes. Yeah. Well, he winds up suing the paper for libel, and it really talks about journalistic ethics and trial by media and all that sort of stuff, and it's not as good as the verdict, but it's a powerful movie, and Sally Field is just wonderful as the reporter sort of gets caught up in this between him and her editor, who's really the one kind of pushing her, and other people, who basically want to bring him down for one reason or another. So again, highly recommended. And I want to say it's another Sidney Lumet film. I think, if I remember correctly.
I can look it up.
It looked like a good movie, and that and The Verdict were the two that I came down with, and yeah, I chose The Verdict, but
Oh no,
that
it was
movie,
Sidney
Sidney
Pollack.
Pollack. Sidney Pollack is the director. Yeah. I would almost do that. The Verdict and Absolute Malice almost as a double feature.
yeah, I might still watch them because I think, well, one of the things that's very interesting to me about Absence of Malice, and not to be too political, but it's not really something that we have to worry about anymore, journalistic ethics. And so I think, well, let me ask you this. Do you think that nowadays, for somebody that was maybe born in the 80s or 90s or later, that they would understand what is happening?
That's a good question. Probably not, since newspapers are not the primary source of news anymore. It's all social media and cable news.
And honestly, the news,
and they're all fake. It's all
honestly,
fake news.
the news
We all know.
is entertainment at this point. It's not even news.
And it's mostly
right?
entertainment. Exactly.
So that's an interesting thing because I was a English writing major in college, and that was a huge thing, and it was fascinating, me going on to be a lawyer. And it's interesting to think that somebody that could be 20, 30 years old now, because they wouldn't have really an understanding of what that is.
Yeah. So what's on your?
I
what's
think
on?
that movie is maybe important for that fact, for the historical significance and what the news, in my opinion, maybe should be doing and less of what it is doing.
Yeah.
I had a problem with the film. The performances are very good. The direction is very good because of Sidney Pollack, but I had a problem with the relationship between her and Paul Newman. It was like they were trying to get some kind of romance going or something, despite the fact that she just smeared him, and I just didn't. I mean, luckily it didn't go that way. It didn't go that far, but I felt it was going that way, and I didn't like that. I was like, wait a minute, why is he even talking to her? I mean, why does she keep coming back and trying to apologize, and he keeps talking to her? Stop it. She's going to smear you again. She's going to put her in a newspaper.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing that very often kills me about courtroom dramas is I am screaming at the TV, don't talk to anyone without a lawyer. I'm like losing my mind.
That's how I felt about that.
Like, let me tell you something. This is off the record, right? Like, no, everything you say is on the record.
Yeah.
Well, there is a scene where she comes to see him, and it's kind of a brutal, like, God, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a rape scene, but it's not.
Maybe I'm not gonna watch this movie. I don't know.
It's intense, yeah. And again, the performances are great, but I just thought that part of it, that aspect of it, was just kind of off-putting for me.
Yeah.
I really think
I wanted to warn you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's hard to know if it's worth watching a movie like that now. Like, for me as a 50-year-old, there will be significance that there wouldn't be for somebody else, but this isn't what we do anymore.
Yeah.
in the world. So is it really something that I want to like drudge up this, argument that I had in my head for all those years that isn't really applicable? You know what I mean? But I think it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
to talk about it, because
Yeah.
with each of these movies, and this is something that I love about movies so much, and I really appreciate about, this show, is the fact that you're learning history and there's so much context that is behind every movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that are important that we don't do anymore that, maybe we need to think maybe we should be doing again. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
leave it a little vague. I don't I don't want to
Oh, that's fine. That's
the
fine.
soapbox,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So you want to? So what's on your honorable mentions list then, Elana?
oh, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Rory.
Okay. We've already talked about The Hustler and The Color of Money. We've talked about The Long Hot Summer and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, his two earliest successes. Harper. They said that if it was Paul Newman and the film began with the letter H, it was going to be a huge hit. So Harper didn't really hit it for me. It's his gumshoe shtick. Harper is supposed to be like, Sam Spade, that kind of character. And it's got a great cast. Again, Strother Martin has got a fantastic little cameo in it, and Arthur Hiller, a lot of people, a lot of really good character actors all through it. I just thought it was worth a mention. I wanted to like Buffalo Bill and the Indians or Sitting Bull's history lesson. Longest Paul Newman title. And I wanted to call it Buffalo Bill Sells Out. Because even though he's a great actor and he can get you to read between the lines, and he gives a glance, a look at the end of the film that shows you that what he just said in the previous scene to Sitting Bull, basically he feels guilty about that. But again, it's just it's the horrible mistreating of Indians. And again, it felt like I liked Clint Eastwood's Bronco Billy, but it's not high on my list of his films. It's a fun film to watch, but it's not the greatest. And that's the way I felt about Buffalo Bill and the Indians or Sitting Bull's history lesson. Again, great cast. Geraldine Chaplin plays Annie Oakley. Shelley Duvall plays the First Lady, and Grover Cleveland is played by really big, tall actor, comedy actor. Gah! He was in with Paul Williams in the Smokey and the Bandit films.
Oh, well,
you know who I'm talking about. But yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Will Sampson is one of the Indians in it. Again, always good to see him. But again, I couldn't put it on my top 5 list. It's actually kind of far down on my honorable mentions list too. We mentioned Hudsucker Proxy. Nobody mentioned Road to Perdition. I was surprised about that because I could have swore Manny was going to put it on his top 5 list. I had money down.
It was on there for a while and it kind of dropped off. It is on my honorable mentions.
It's a great performance by Newman, but he's in it. He's not in it all that much.
And really, that's the main reason why.
It's Tom Hanks.
This is Tom Hanks' movie,
Yeah.
but and it's one of his last movies, if not his last movie, with Road to Perdition.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did the Cars films after, but yeah. It was in the latter part of his career, and again, a very good performance. I loved his Crazy Artist in Paris. In What a Way to Go. If you haven't seen What a Way to Go, it's a fun, dark comedy, really dark comedy.
Yeah.
Shirley MacLaine is marrying
Shirley
all these
MacLaine.
these men, and then they become these greedy rich men, and they all die because of it. And she ends up
Mhm.
making more and more and more money every time her husbands die.
Maybe that
Mm.
goes with Paris Blues, right? Double feature.
I haven't seen Paris Blues, so I couldn't tell you. I just know it's a very fun, dark comedy with her, and she ends up with Dean Martin finally, and he
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
rich, but loses all of his money, and that's good for her because that breaks the curse. And we talked about silent movie, Torn Curtain. My dishonorable mention was HUD, which was also a Newman movie that began with an H. Oh my God, his character is so deplorable, and the movie really doesn't go anywhere at all.
So
And
not a good H movie for him.
it wasn't a good H. Newman film. He is despicable in it.
Oh,
Patricia
yeah.
Neal is in it.
Patricia Neal,
Mark
Melvin Douglas.
Melvin Douglas plays the father. It's just
Yeah.
depressing.
Cornel de Wilde plays the nephew or whatever. Yeah, you know, it's funny because almost every list that I, best of, they put HUD up there, and so
That's
and I hadn't seen it in
I
a while,
did.
and I
I
kind of
hated
forgotten,
it.
and I
just
watched
hated
it, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's just terrible. Exactly, it's just that
The only thing good about the film is the young son leaves. He gets away from that horrible freaking ranch with the hoof and mouth cows and So
I
it
was
deplorable.
It seems like there are movies that are worth watching, like Torn Curtain, which was my number one, which is not on these lists, which I wouldn't have known about except for somebody told me about it. And then HUD is on all of these lists.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and we all agree it's a dud. HUD is a dud.
HUD is a dud. Yeah. But you mentioned Harper, and there's a sequel, The Drowning Pool, which I think is actually a little bit better than the first one.
Oh, is there a sequel to Harper?
There's a sequel, yeah. It's called The Drowning Pool.
I've heard of The Drowning Pool. Yeah. I don't think I saw it though.
I'll have to look it up.
Nobody mentioned The Towering Inferno.
Oh no. Because we're waiting. I'm waiting.
Because it's not a good movie.
Well,
I'm waiting
if you like
the other person in that movie.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah. Oh wait, but it's not a good movie. Don't tell me that.
There was a slew of disaster movies in the 70s.
Yeah, I remember.
And anything that could be destroyed or burnt up or exploded
or capsized.
Capsized, yeah. And I think it kind of began with Airport rather, and then Poseidon Adventure, and then you had Earthquake and The Towering Inferno.
Yeah, I remember. And then there were a ton of end of the world movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Towering, a lot of.
It seems like it was just written in a weekend or something, you know.
I mean, a lot of truck driving guys with monkeys too. You remember all those movies?
Truck driving guys with monkeys. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was either because we went to the drive-in like every week when I was younger, and it was either disaster movies or like guys on
TV the Bear
with like monkeys like messing with them.
Yeah, guys.
That was like the early 70s.
that was it. Yeah.
All right. 70s maybe. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
There it is.
So I enjoyed this very much. There were a lot of Paul Newman movies that I had not seen that I should have seen. So this was a good opportunity to watch them.
That's why we do this show, to put out, when you got three different opinions and we put out our opinions about these movies, it helps people to pick the right movies for a certain director or a certain actor or, a certain genre. I think.
And as I said, you get context. Context in history is one of my favorite parts of this because as we discussed, with Absence of Malice, there are some things that just today's world does not deal with, that we used to deal with in, the olden days.
The olden days.
The olden days, like the 90s.
The 20th century.
All fake
Yeah.
news. It's
Way
all
back
fake
then.
news, folks. Don't listen to them. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But with somebody like Paul Newman, it's interesting too, because like even the worst movie, well, I guess I didn't see HUD, but even
Don't
his
call it.
performances
Don't.
are stellar, so
Mhm.
it's like you really can't, mostly you can't go wrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Elana. Thank you, Rory.
Thank you.
For another great episode. Next time, we will be talking about a very interesting actress. Angelina Jolie will be our subject for next time. So join us 2 weeks from today, from Monday when this airs, and so until then, take care and beware of flying monkeys. Thank you for watching this episode of Two Guys and a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell.